Hello, my fellow classmates and Dr. Kurter. This is Trinka Landry Bourne, and I'll be presenting on the article Women Leaders in a Male-Dominated Society, Mexico. It was written by Patricia Moreno and Glenn McLean in 2016. The introduction to the study, the authors did a great job of clearly detailing the problem, the solution, and the stakeholders that were involved in the study. It consisted of a research design that was a qualitative feminological study of 7 women leaders in Mexico and their experiences. Through the study, the authors identified 6 themes. Those 6 themes that were prevalent to their experiences was that academic preparation is so very important. Innate characteristics really played an important part in their success. There was decision making that was based off of ethical and principle values. The job itself was very important. There were goals in balancing professional and personal time, as well as the benefits that came with that leadership position. The purpose of the study was really taking a closer look at their experiences and being able to really dive into why there were such differences in the level of salary earned by women leaders in comparison to men, the significant barriers for women leaders in Mexico, and in addition, outside of Mexico throughout the world. And then why was there such a historical perception still in Mexico from male Mexican leaders that motherhood is permanent and maternity is similar to disability? So interesting, the purpose of the study was machoism is prevalent in Mexico, and women in leading positions only represent a small percentage. So this study was in hope of gaining a deeper understanding of the experiences of women leaders within Mexico. The research design and methodology was based off of pulling a recruitment of the 7 women who came from corporate, nonprofit, from political background, and academia. They aged between 28 and 57. They were single, married, and or divorced. They spoke 2 languages. A few spoke 3. They came from middle and upper socioeconomic status. And the question that was asked to each of them was, what are the experiences of being a woman leader in Mexico, a predominantly male-dominated culture? The authors recorded the interviews and transcribed the tapes verbatim into writing, and then it went through an extensive review to make sure that there was accuracy in the statements that were made. What was interesting about the literature review was that the authors decided not to write the literature review until after the qualitative study was completed. And I never would have thought that that was a great approach to take. However, with identifying those 6 themes, it was nice to see that the literature review and the theoretical framework within that there was greater validity and credibility on the return on investment that the 7 women leaders, the discipline, the dedication, and the hard work that was put into them striving to obtain and maintain those positions. So the literature review was able to really focus on those 6 themes, as well as the significant barrier, which was the work-life balance in leadership positions with women. And that came up more times than not as to um, being able to really balance that with there being more than half the population in Mexico represented by women, but those percentages didn't match in regards to who was actually being represented in the leadership roles. So, as I spoke of before, the results of this study was based around these 6 themes that I shared before: education, characteristics, decision making based on ethical values and principles, as well as what came with that, the importance of the job, as I spoke before, the balance of their personal and professional time, the benefits in leading. But even more so, it was also recommended that human resource departments and practitioners integrate the female voices that are necessary to address the contradictions and the challenges that are being faced by these women in leadership. Also, what was interesting is that this wasn't something that was much different than around the world as well. So, just leaders and women as a whole, there were still similarities in that. So, in conclusion, it was identified that the Mexican women leaders still remain underrepresented in the top leadership positions, and that there's still hope that their voices might create space and inspire others in tracing their paths to becoming leaders. And so, what was nice about this study is that even though the outcomes didn't necessarily identify changing that perception, it does help in sharing the voice of these leaders and allowing others to be inspired by that and to trace their paths to becoming leaders. And then also just encouraging that working with other women in leadership roles to help pay it forward by developing and enhancing, and that it can happen through modeling, mentoring, education, and nice, healthy competition where we can continue to work towards changing the trajectory of how women leaders are selected for these high top executive roles, and bringing more clarity of support and understanding that will continue to make those numbers increase. My reference page, I hope you enjoyed this quick presentation and it was able to bring clarity to the topic that was being discussed. I look forward to reading all of yours. Take care and thank you for your time.